being here this evening for the opening kickoff meeting for the 24-25 athletic season. If you could please just join me in a quick prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for bringing us through another summer, and as we get ready for another school year, we just appreciate all that you've done for us and for this great school. Thank you for the parents, the student athletes, the coaches in this room, as we come together for one goal, to continue to glorify you. Be with us this school year through our athletic seasons, keep us safe, and to continue doing everything to your glory, and thanking you for the gifts and talents you have given us. And we pray, amen. All right, thank you. Once again, welcome. My name is Corey Scheel. I am the athletic director here at Martin Luther High School, going into year number 10. And this is our one and only parent and athlete meeting, trying to go across all seasons, all sports here. We appreciate you being in attendance. Want to give you some important information about the upcoming 24-25 year, things in athletics. There's been a lot of changes throughout the summer, going into this season. Some new office staff, new principal. We have 5 new head coaches on staff here this year. We're getting some changes. Our tennis courts are getting refurbished and redone out back. Just a lot of change, but a lot of change in a good way. So we want to celebrate that and inform you all those things going on. First off, up here, what you need to know is our SpartanAthletics.org. That is where you need to go for all things athletics. You're going to find everything you need there. It comes to finding where to go register, our building calendar, to find schedules for teams, to find teams' individual websites. You name it, so much information. If you have questions, try to go there. If that doesn't answer it, then please feel free to reach out and we can help you out. We are on social media with our Twitter, or now X, I should say, for our athletics. Also on Facebook, our Martin Luther Athletics page. Check those out, follow those. Let's see if that's going to work for me. Perfect. One thing I love to highlight every year, this is a banner you'll see up in our senior hallway, just about the participation that we have in athletics here. About 52% of students at Martin Luther participated in athletics, which I think is just an astounding number, really outstanding. We got some special stuff going on here. Woo, yay, everybody. So I really like to highlight that every year, talking about our students that are 3-sport athletes, dual sport athletes. I think that's just really, really cool, and something we highlight at the end of the year in our senior awards chapel. And then looking at the cumulative GPA of our student athletes, it's just amazing what we accomplish here at Martin Luther with the size that we are, the amount of participation we have, and the academics that we come through. Student athletes really get it done in the classroom. That was a younger picture, not as much gray, if you can see that up there. But I've introduced myself. We have one new staff member, Mr. Dave Minkowski. Dave, could you stand up right there? Dave is going to be our assistant athletic director this year. He's also going to serve as our head girls basketball coach. So I'm very excited to have Dave aboard to help me out with a lot of game management things, day-to-day tasks here and there. It's truly, truly blessed to have Dave join us. Back once again is Ms. Heather Schmidt. You may have seen her when you walked in. Heather is the office administrative assistant. It's going to give a little bit of help in athletics, enrollment area, and all different things within the office. So Heather is a godsend, especially when it comes to registration. That is, if you have questions with registering your child for athletics, Heather is the one you want to reach out to. If you're having issues, problems, she's become really good at that system and helping you through that. So Mrs. Schmidt will be helping you through that. She will get practice permits to your children. She is the one to reach out to in that. Come on, work. There we go. I'd like to introduce all of our coaches. First off, our fall head coaches, and I will apologize, Ms. Hawkins, for using your old picture on there. She called me out on that. We got to update that to her. But first off, for our head football coach, Mr. Rick Hoppert. Where are you at? Mr. Rick Hoppert, stand up. The nice tan guy over there just got back from laying on the lake all weekend, right there. Cross country, as we said, Miss Danielle Hawkins right there. Cross country, she also is our head track coach. Going down, Mr. Paul Colmorgan, if you could stand up, Paul Colmorgan. Girls and boys tennis, going on year 30, was that right? 31. Super excited about those tennis courts in back, though. Super excited. He is giddy as all can be for that. Cheer, Pom, and Dance, Miss Sharice Myers. I don't believe she is in the building today, but Sharice has been with us for a lot of years now, rebuilding our cheer and dance program. Very blessed to have her. And we have two new coaches joining our head coaching staff for the fall. Mr. Brody Conklin. Brody, could you stand up? Brody is our head girls volleyball coach, served last year as the head JV coach. He'll be taking over this year. And also, Nason Nyamatutu. Did I say that correct, sir? All right, Nason Nyamatutu. He is going to be taking over our boys soccer program this year. Super excited for him and the knowledge and expertise he brings in that sport. Girls swim, we do have a co-op with West Ellis Central, if you didn't know, if you have any girls swimmers in here. The West Ellis Wave, so we combine with Central and Hale, and all practices take place over at West Ellis Central. And Essie Lamott is the head coach over there. Her email can be found in our information if you picked it up coming in. Our head coaches in the winter sports. First off, Mr. Paul Wollersheim, if you could stand up, sir. Mr. Paul Wollersheim going into year 10 as our head boys basketball coach, also serves as our dean of students. You already met Mr. Menkowski taking over girls basketball. Boys wrestling, Mr. Tony Romano right here going into year 20 as our head boys wrestling coach. And with all the great interest we've had in girls wrestling, it was time to split those programs for sure. And our official girls wrestling coach, Mr. Jacob Farnes, taking over the girls wrestling program for us. Once again, Sharice Myers for cheer and dance. That is also a two-season sport, fall and winter. The fall team has already been picked. Winter, there may be chances for another tryouts for our winter program. Boys swim, just as the same as the girls, we'll be combining with West Allis. Same coach will be over there. And we also do have boys hockey. We have a co-op with about 6 different schools. It is hosted by Whitefish Bay High School as the head school, but I think we have like Nicolay in there, Dominican, Shorewood, I can't remember the rest of them, but we got a good group. Mrs. Selzer could probably tell me all the other schools. So boys hockey as well. Going on to our spring head coaches. This is going to work for me. There we go. We have, first of all, softball, Mr. Dax Rodriguez could not be here tonight. Been leading our program for a number of years now. Conference champions last year, continues to be a very strong program for us here at Martin Luther. Danielle, we met her also doing track and field. Mr. Cole Morgan we met for tennis. We have girls soccer. Miss Lindsay Arndt, used to be called Bowman. If you didn't know, she's recently been married. I don't believe she's here tonight. She's getting ready for her reception tomorrow, actually. So Miss Arndt, now you can still call her Bowman because I'm sure many will, taking up girls soccer. We have boys golf. Mr. Tom Brown is also an English teacher here for us. And we've added a new head coach for baseball. We're over here. He's Mr. Mike Mather. Mike, could you stand up? Mike's going to be taking over our baseball program this upcoming spring. And also, if you didn't know, we have trap shooting. It is a club sport. It is it is also a co-op, so between Milwaukee Lutheran, Lake Country, and ourselves. Had that for a number of years. Actually just coming off another state championship for our trap shooting program, as well as a conference championship. So back-to-back state champs for trap shooting. Very excited for that. We've had a lot of Martin Luther representation in that program that has done very, very well. Our athletic trainer, I believe she's on vacation right now too, but Ashley Groth is a blessing. She's been here longer than I have. I think she's probably a dozen plus years, but super blessed to have a full-time athletic trainer here at Martin Luther at every practice, usually available for every practice, at all of our home events. Ashley is outstanding. She is awesome. If your athlete is having an issue, they can go see her. She is going to work with them to get them back as quick as possible, and just is going to be very great at communicating with you and helping them through all their needs. I talked about all of her coverage. She does do one thing. It's concussion testing that usually for all of our newer athletes have to go through. Your head coaches will be working with your student athletes to get them in for a kind of a pre-base concussion test. In case anything does happen, they have a baseline to go off of to see where the problem is, and then they can work to get back towards that. So it's a really important part. She can get you to see doctors really quickly. If you have something very serious, she can get you in fast. All right, so use that. She is there to help with this. Another awesome service that we are blessed to have is Mr. Sam Zender. He is a physical therapist, graduate of Martin Luther 2014. Yep, got it. And just has been another blessing to us here at ML. Last year was his first year as all season being here full time when we needed him. He's going to be here as needed if cases arise. Mr. Zender is going to come in. He's going to also do some baseline testing with our student athletes before the season in case there's an injury, whatever it may be. And that testing, I should say, is sport specific. So whatever they need to work on, he's going to work to get them back to that baseline that they tested at so they can get back on the field, court, pool, whatever it may be, a lot faster. He's going to work with our head coaches to develop stretching routines, warm-up routines that are more very sport specific based on his expertise, which I think is just outstanding, and then also works to do special weight training programs, things like that, to get our student athletes back from injury. Did I hit all those? Outstanding, thank you. We also are blessed to have our own personal strength conditioning coach. Coach Dine has been here longer than me as well. Runs all of our strength conditioning in our fitness center, just on the other side of that wall over there. Works with our programs outside of the season, in season as well. Does his own personal training business outside of our fitness center as well. So if you're looking for some personal training, give him a shout. But just another blessing for our student athletes to have access to our programs. The three things that we have, full on-staff athletic trainer, physical therapy, strength conditioning. There's not many schools like us our size that have those services. So just truly, truly blessed to have that here at Martin Luther High School for our student athletes. Want to give a quick talk about our Spartan Athletic Club. Spartan Athletic Club is our booster club. They help us raise money mainly through concessions. We do concessions at a lot of our events, 3 events throughout the season. And parents from that program, so for example, volleyball signed up for a football game. Volleyball parents and players will come help run concessions that night with a Spartan Athletic Club member. That is kind of our captain, if you will. And after that night, 25% of those proceeds goes to that program. So volleyball earns 25% of whatever we took in that night at football. And that's to go towards extras towards their program. And we asked for 3 of those. Okay? So we're going to ask for your help. You're going to see emails from your coaches with a Sign Up Genius link to please go and sign up for certain events. Once again, we want the students to help too. Students, you can get service hours, all right, towards your 60 for graduation, 15 a year. Work on that, work towards that, and help your program, okay? So we'd really appreciate that help. We've tried to incentivize that to help out. If you want to become a Spartan Athletic Club member, which is a little bit more, as I said, of a commitment, I'll give you a conference pass. You get some extra Spartan Athletic Club swag, okay? Get you some vouchers for food, 50% refund on your athletic fees, which is really cool. And the commitment is there. A couple training sessions to kind of learn what it is. Learn what it is to being a mod, a manager on duty. As I talked about, we have somebody that's kind of on duty, that's running, that's our leader for our other parent volunteers. Couple meetings and just have fun and meet new people. Always looking for that. So that's kind of that commitment of being a Spartan Athletic Club member. Like I said, please reach out if that interests you. Kind of talked about all that stuff as well, so I'll skip that. Our mission here at Martin Luther in athletics is plainly put there. We're in a Christian environment, developing young leaders, shaping lives. That is what we do here. Stimulating a Christian attitude of discipline, sportsmanship, integrity, and responsibility. Okay, promoting equality with all of our student athletes, and just making this a sense of community. The relationships we build here, not only in the classroom, but out on the field, on the courts, in the weight rooms, are amazing. That's why we continually see our alumni coming back to visit our coaches, to visit our teachers, because of that sense of community that we have here. And we follow that mission to a T. Our pillars of athletics, if you've been in our fitness center before, you would see these. I have them on on all the pillars there. It's kind of worked out well that way for me there. But we want to instill those faith, excellence, commitment, and character into all of our students as they enter here in athletics. Fall season start dates, as we're here right now. Football ramps up next Tuesday. I hope we're ready to go. Everybody's got their practice permits, right, football players? Yeah. Okay. Yep, we're ready to rock. Monday's going to be a really busy day. Tuesday morning's going to be a really busy day, and Coach Hoppert's going to be pulling his hair out and just, So get that stuff done. Get your registration done ASAP. August 13th, girls tennis, and then swim and dive. And then August 19th, all of our other sports get going, the volleyballs, soccer, and cross country. And I just remembered here, I think I totally forgot, and I'm sorry, Mr. Slavskunis, I totally forgot about you, sir. Oh my gosh. I totally forgot about this guy, and I missed that because I didn't have your wonderful picture up. Could you stand up for me, sir? Over there, that's Mr. Bob Stauskunis. He is a new teacher here on staff, and he is also taking over our boys volleyball program. This is our first year for the boys volleyball program here at Martin Luther High School. I can't believe I forgot that. I'm so sorry. So we're super excited to get boys volleyball up and running for the first year here at Martin Luther. Looking to hopefully have a varsity and a JV team, and just super excited for the expertise and the time that that man has had in volleyball over his years is amazing. We've lucked out and got a really great head coach to start off a program. So boys volleyball is another big change to our athletic givings this year. I apologize again, sir. Thank you. Winter sports. I've had some emails come from parents saying, I'm trying to register my son for basketball, but it's not an option. It's only fall registration right now. Winter registration will come out probably mid-October, so you'll look for information coming from me on, hey, winter registration's open, here's what we need to do. I appreciate those of you that have the hustle right now and are trying to get that done. Great job. And then spring season, March 10th. So same thing. None of that will be available till probably February for registration. But March 10th starts our track and field, softball, girls soccer and baseball, boys tennis, and boys golf. So all those will get going back after the new year. You'll see registration information coming regarding that. Okay? Talked about this a little bit earlier, but just once again, I want to highlight what is at our SpartanAthletics.org. All the things that you can want to find out are going to be there. Coaches should provide you with a lot of this information, but your practice schedules are going to be there, your bus times, early release times, locations to other events, your team pages, link to purchase event tickets is going to be there, and then athletic registration and so much more listed at that site. So just, I can't say it enough, that is going to be your one-stop shop. And I think I have a couple pictures here. So as you can see, up at the top, if you get to that, your athletic registration is right there. Team pages will take you to all the individual sports pages. If you want to sign up for notifications, there's that notify me button right there. Really comes in handy in the spring when we're canceling games because of weather and you want to get a notification that something has changed. Sign up for that. It's via text or email. You'll get stuff. As soon as I update it, you're going to be updated. So really a good tool. All of our important information here really talks about our ticket protocols, which I'll hide a little bit later. And then we'll update these dates as the season goes on. And then just kind of any highlights. Our registration information is there, Athlete of the Month announcements. And then we like to have a nice little ticker up there with all of our sports scores throughout the year. So kind of a cool spot. It's going to have everything you need there. As you scroll down, there's some other important information that I'd like to highlight. We talked about that, but quick links, super important. I get a lot of questions about Letterman jacket orders. You can go right here. It takes you to the Jostens link if you want to get a Letterman jacket done for your son or daughter. All of our live streams goes directly to our Huddle TV live stream. You can click right there and you get to that page. After picture days are done, you go to there, you can click VIP picture order, takes you to VIP. You can order your pictures right there. All right? Our calendar, any junior sport and stuff, and our event tickets. You can buy event tickets for all of our home events on this site. Upcoming events will show you what's going on coming up for that week. Once again, just an abundance of information there for you. Our calendar site, this is where we're talking about viewing schedules and things. You can also get to our registration from here to our team site. These all talk to each other, okay? So there's always ways to find. You can check for a schedule in the View Schedules box. You can sign up for Notify Me again here. But you can get an idea of what's going on in our building, even back in 2021, what's going back in our building on a daily basis, okay? On our athletic registration site, you would see here, click here to register. This was the information that was put out on that page. You would click there to register your child. If you're wondering if your son or daughter needs a new physical for this year, click to that. We have this PDF document right there. That'll show you if your name's on that, you should be getting a new physical, okay? Usually freshmen should be getting a new physical if you're coming in. Our physical paperwork, it's right there for you to download right on that site. And then obviously Ms. Schmidt's contact information if you're having any trouble. Let's talk a little bit about the requirements for participation. Complete your online registration. Must have a current physical on file. Our athletic fee is $85, went up $5 this year, so $85 for our participation fee. And then you get your permit from the main office about a week before the season. We'll put those dates out for you. If you need a new physical, it must be done by a doctor, nurse practitioner, or your choice. Then upload it. You can upload it directly to the site, or you can turn in that physical paper to Ms. Schmidt in the main office. Either one will work for you. If it's easier to upload, we appreciate that. It's done all electronically, but if you got to bring it in, totally okay. And a new physical, any student with a physical done before April 1st, 2023 is when you're going to need a new physical. So if you had a physical in February of 22, that would be now expired, okay, just for example there. Talked about athletic fee for our global study students. That is in their tuition and fees that they already pay. We pay online only. There's no extra fees but paying online for this. Refunds are not given if they decide to quit a team, if they drop out of a sport, season and injury, or academic ineligibility. If a player is cut, refund will be issued. Please ask for that. We only have a couple cut sports. It really comes down girls volleyball, usually boys basketball are usually our only cut sports, sometimes baseball, depending on the numbers that try out and for the number of teams that we can have. Inquire in the main office if you need a refund, and then anything will be at the discretion of me. If by chance it's the beginning of the season and that athlete tears an ACL, yes, I'm going to give it back. You know, if it's halfway through the season, you competed half a season, all right? If your son or daughter goes and they practice, they play a couple games and go, this just isn't for me. You played some games, I'm sorry. You've made that choice. So I will take it case by case, but those are things that have happened, just letting you know. This is our golden ticket for you Willy Wonka fans, okay? We'll call it our white ticket, our practice permit. This is what I talk about when I talk about a practice permit from Mrs. Schmidt. Once everything is completed, you will go see her and then ask for your practice permit. This is what you give to your head coach. If they don't receive that from your son or daughter, they're not ready to practice. They will not be allowed to, okay? So that is number one. That lets us know every piece has been completed. Code of conduct. This is going to be found in our student handbook, or our parent and student handbook. Always understand that this is 365, 24/7. Whether it's summer, we're not in school, or we're in school, it is always going. You are always representing Martin Luther High School wherever you are at. Okay? We talk about one of those pillars, character being one of those, highly, highly visible, especially when you're out wearing Martin Luther gear out in the community. Right? You're representing us, not only yourself, your family, but still that school that you go to, okay? Coaches and advisors, can have additional guidelines or expectations in their program. Some of our coaches may have a little bit higher academic standards, things like that. That is fine for them to hold your student accountable to, all right? Whether it's, certain policies on if they're missing game or missing practices, missing games, things like that, they're going to communicate that with you. All athletes and extracurriculars. Any situation during the season that's covered in our school discipline policy will be acted upon at the discretion of our administration and head coach. We will collaborate on that and decide, depending on what the infraction may be, through our student handbook, make decisions if suspensions, certain amount of games, etc., will be put forth as a punishment. And that will be communicated to the child, communicated to you as the parent. Like to talk about this, attendance. This is a big one. Must be in school at least half of the school day to be able to practice and or play, okay? So you cannot just not show up at school all day and then come think I'm going to go play in my game that day or practice. It doesn't happen that way. If you're in school suspended, if you're out of school suspended, you're not practicing or playing on that day, okay? Nothing is new with that. That has always been our policy. So be at school, all right? We've had circumstances where kids have had to miss for a funeral, for a college visit. Excused. Totally okay, as long as that is cleared through me and the athletic office. Those things do arise, and we will work with you on that. Our grading periods, these are really important pieces throughout the year. We have two formal grading periods, our 6 and our 12-week grading periods. These are times that any student at our 6 or 12-week marks, if they have a failing grade in any class, they are deemed ineligible for any competition until that F is raised, okay? So if our grades come out on a Monday, it's October 4th, I believe, is our first 6-week check. They come out on that Monday the 4th, and they have an F. I am going to contact their coach, let them know that Jimmy has an F in this class with this percentage. Please have a conversation with them. They are going to be ineligible for competition until I sign off. Now, sometimes students have dug themselves a really, really deep hole, and it's tough to get out of, and then ineligibility lasts for a little bit. Sometimes they bombed a test. Maybe they didn't hand in a couple assignments. Well, they get it in, the grade raises in 2 days, awesome. They have to come see me. We ask them to be responsible. Come see me. Coach, I got my grade up. I look at it, I print off the grade report, I sign it, they give it to their coach, you're back into play. Okay? What I really want to tell, especially new students and freshmen, don't dig the 6-week hole. It can be really tough to get out of. And that hole really stems from just being lazy, to be honest. Not doing work, not handing in work, it catches up really quick. You got homework here. Get used to it, all right? There's going to be homework. You got to hand in your stuff, okay? You bomb a test, it happens. Teachers are really good about letting you retake stuff if you talk with them. Be responsible, communicate. It's going to make things a lot easier, okay? We have one other formal grading period. Sorry. And behind all of this. It's our 18-week semester. So at the end of the winter semester, semester 1, students cannot have anything more than one failing grade. So 1 F, that's the WIAA rule. We follow the WIAA rule for no more than 1 F. But also we have our own rule of at least a 2.0 grade point average. So your student must have no more than 1 F and a 2.0 GPA in order to be eligible for athletic competition. If they are not, at that semester break, once we start school again, they are sitting out for 15 in-school days. That amounts to about 3 weeks of missing competition. This affects really our winter athletes, our basketball, our wrestling, our swim, okay? So same thing, that will be communicated to the athlete. communicated to the coach. You would probably get a letter from our student services regarding that. Our second semester grades, understand, do carry into the fall. So if we had anybody that failed 2 classes in our last semester or had under a 2.0 GPA and they're a fall athlete, they're going to be starting ineligible this fall. Once I get that list, I will be communicating that out as well. We've had summer school opportunities. Students can raise those. But just to know, it comes down to about another 3 weeks or so of missing competition. Grades, obviously, are first and foremost. That's why they're student athletes, not athlete students. We talked about all that. Commitment and communication. Commitment's a big thing in high school athletics, and I want to really highlight that, that this isn't middle school athletics anymore. And this is something that our freshmen really try to learn. It takes a while to learn. That when you come to high school, you are practicing 5 to 6 days a week. Okay? You're going to practice Monday through Friday, maybe Saturdays. You're going to have 2 to 3 games a week. You're going to have some early practices right after school. You might have some late practices till 8, 8:30. It's different when you get to high school. It's a commitment, all right? That's what our coaches are expecting from you, and you grow up really quickly when you get to high school, being a student, being an athlete, and all those that are double or 3-sport athletes. It's a lot, but it teaches you organization, it teaches you responsibility, and it makes you a better person as you leave here and ready for the real world. So we really, really want to make sure that that commitment is there. Communication, things happen. Coaches are going to have different communication outlets to communicate with you as families and as with the students. Different sorts of apps through email to get that communication out. Please make sure you communicate before it's too late. If you got something planned like a vacation, let us know really, really early. Coaches appreciate that. Okay? If you're going to be sick for a day, or if you're sick all day, you're feeling terrible, contact the coach. There's going to be outlets to do that. Please communicate. Coaches depend on you to be there, and they want to see you there, but if things happen, please communicate early. Let's talk a little bit about our school-issued equipment and uniforms. You are financially responsible for anything that are lost, misplaced, damaged, etc. Your son or daughter loses their basketball jersey, you're going to replace it at the cost that I had to pay for it. Okay? Uniforms, equipment are not cheap. All right? It does happen. It's very minimal. All right? I've had it happen a couple times, but please understand anything that is missing, they may not get their diplomas, their officials' transcripts, whatever it may be until that is replaced. Communication, I talked about that. What I want you to expect from your head coaches, okay, or all of your coaches, you should hopefully be given a philosophy, their expectations, okay, their contact info, what they want from their players on their team. If they have extra expectations outside of our schools, you should know that. Okay, if they miss a practice, you're going to set out a half or a quarter, whatever it may be, they're going to explain that to you. Any other requirements, out-of-season expectations, your coaches should be giving that to you on a regular basis. And they should be you should expect a parent meeting of some sort, either just before the season or after teams are made, whatever it may be, to have a parent meeting to hear about your coaches' expectations, meet their staff, and then get to ask any questions you'd have there. Parent, athlete to coach. If your son or daughter is injured, communicate to your coach and to our athletic trainer to get there to help out. Illnesses that are going to miss school or practices. Schedule conflicts. At least try to give that 48-hour notice, especially if you know something's coming up. When you're scheduling doctor appointments, dentist appointments, try to work around practice schedules. And I know life isn't perfect. That isn't always going to happen. You got to do what you got to do. They're not easy to get in. But the earlier you can communicate that, definitely the better. And it is our plan for our coaches to give you those practice schedules and expectations early enough so you can plan for that. Parent to coach communication, this is really important on how we want you as parents to communicate with our coaches. What is acceptable? How you feel your athlete may be being treated, concerns about their welfare, requests and ideas of how to help athletes improve skills and performance, and if there's other athletes' behavior that may be affecting them, you can talk to your coach about that, and I want you to go to your coach first with that. Hopefully, though, your athlete is making those conversations first before you as a parent. Unacceptable, playing time, team strategy, play calling, other athletes on team, roster spots or position. Never acceptable to come to the bench or a sideline to talk to an athlete or coach during a contest. I've had this happen a couple times. I've had to handle it a couple times. It's not a fun conversation to have. 24-hour rule. Super, super important thing if you want to have a discussion with a coach. I get it. I get it. I'm a parent, too, of a senior and a freshman. I get it. I get upset, too, with sometimes their coaches or their travel things, and I have questions, but I got to hold off, and I got to tell my son, this is you. I'm going to help them learn how to advocate for themselves. We want that to happen first and foremost. But we do not want any bench interaction, anything like that, because it is not giving out the right type of role model that we want to be to your child. Okay? Counsel them, talk to them, work with them on how to work through adversity. I talked a little bit about the conflict resolution and how we want to handle that. Follow this chain of command, things will go the right way. Number one, player-coach discussion. This is number one. We always want to start there. It never works out well when we go all the way to number 3 or 4 and we skip 1 or 2. We have to go 1 first. As I said, empower your son or daughter to have conversations with the coaches if they have any problems or concerns. That's number 1. I would hope the coach is giving them straightforward, upfront answers and being honest and explaining their role. If that has happened and they are not getting what they want from that, then we go parent to athlete. Parents, then you can come in and we should have parent and athlete together with the coach having a conversation. Okay? Not just parent, coach, parent, athlete, coach. All 3 should be in that room together. If after that there is still some conflicts, that's where I come in. Okay, we add that 4th person to the equation, being me. If after that there's a problem, we then go to 4. We try it all possible to not get to 4. We try to not get to 3. Okay? We don't like to get to 2 if we don't have to. It happens. But let's make sure we follow number 1 first. Okay? That is the best way to resolve any conflicts within a program. Want to highlight a little bit of sportsmanship, being positive. Let our coaches coach. We're going to make mistakes. I've made plenty of them over my years. I'm so fine to admit that. And all the guys and gals sitting over here will say the exact same thing. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. Okay? The kids are going to make mistakes. They're not perfect. Let them play. Let the coaches coach. We're going to figure it out and we're going to learn. As long as we show that we're learning from those mistakes, we're on the right track. Okay, if the things continue to happen over and over and over, that's where we need to make some changes. But I also want to highlight that in yellow, parents, please be aware. This is something that was instituted by the WIAA last year. Just as a student or an athlete would get ejected from a game by an official, they are suspended that very next game. In our conference, we have it as if a coach would get ejected from a game, they are suspended from coaching that next game. The WIAA added this in as a parent. If you're getting on a referee, if you're getting on an official, or you are being belligerent and I have to remove you from a gym, or another athletic director at another school has to remove you from a gym and tells me you are suspended from attending the next game wherever it may be. I've unfortunately had to have those conversations. They're not fun ones. I don't want to have those conversations. Once again, we talked about our athletes being representatives of Martin Luther everywhere they are, whether they're here, at other schools. Our parents, you are also representatives of us. Our coaches are representatives of us. There's no phone call or email I hate more than the next day of, hey, we had this parent we had to remove. Or if I get an ejection report from the WIAA written by an official. That is not a fun way to start my morning. So if we can avoid that at all possible. It gets really quiet in those gyms sometimes, and somebody can be really loud. It can get really quiet out on those baseball fields sometimes, and parents can be really loud. And that football field, officials can hear it. Okay? We want to, once again, be great role models for our student athletes, teach them how to handle adversity, how we handle those. And you know what? Chief of Sinners, I've made the mistake before. Okay? I've gotten a little loud at an umpire. I've yelled the name of a guy because I knew him, and I had to check myself. It happens to the best of us. And I'm sitting here, I preach about it, but I've done it, so I know. Okay? Totally get it. And I got to check myself and understand what I'm representing and what I'm doing, and what kind of example am I setting for my kids. Okay? So that one's just very, very important to me. I want us to be the best fans in the Metro Classic Conference. I want athletic directors and officials to commend us. I want officials to want to work at our games because we have great parents and great coaches and great kids. And we get that for the most part. We are very well liked by those communities. And we don't want to run officials out because I'll tell you, we're losing a lot of them. There's not that many. And we want to keep them in the game. We want our kids to maybe become officials as well and work towards that to understand that. So how we treat them goes a long way and speaks to our school and our values and our core values. Talked about that. Kind of talked about that in my last thing. And then NCAA Eligibility Center. I'm going to hit that right now. We are blessed to have very great athletes at our school. We are. We are seeing more kids going to college. If you go by our gym, I have our collegiate athlete board. Kids that leave here to go play in college, we want to highlight that. We put them on that board. If we have kids looking to go to the Division I or Division II level, which we've had, very blessed to have that, you have to do some special things through the NCAA clearinghouse. And Mrs. Janetsky will be the one in student services to help you out with that. She can make sure that you are getting the right classes done, you're at the eligibility center requirements, that you're meeting those. Usually it's around the junior year. Freshmen and sophomores, you don't got to worry about this as much, but our junior seniors really got to make sure they're involved in this. I'm one that's going through that now with a senior, just learning and navigating around this. But when you have those higher level athletes that are going to that level, make sure they're covering their bases, and Mrs. Janetsky is a great, great resource for you. Want to touch on some just other basic things within our games, or more specifically, our game admission. We do charge, admission in all of our the following sports: our volleyball, boys and girls for all levels; football, varsity only; basketball, all levels, JV, JV2, and varsity; and then also any track meets we would host, we do charge admission. It is $6 for adults, $3 for seniors, $2 for non-ML students. All of our Martin Luther students are free to all of our home events as long as they show their ID. Okay? We would like to have our kids at our games as much as possible. We do sell season passes. We have just a fall season, if you're just a football family. We have just winter season. We also have our full year, which covers everything. Okay? Those all be bought online. They do have a $2 plus 5% service fee. And I'll talk a little bit more about how you get those passes in a moment. If you've been around, we've done online ticketing for the past couple of years. Nothing is changing outside of the platform that we are going to. The past couple of years, we've done hometown ticketing. We are now going to go with GoFan. GoFan is becoming a lot more widely used throughout our conference, throughout the Southeast Milwaukee area. WIAA tournament games use GoFan. They have a good relationship with our school, who all of our calendaring is, all of our athletic website stuff is, to make things easier. So everything can be bought. All of our ticketing can be bought at GoFan. All right. We prefer to be for that to be done before the game. Okay. Those links are on our athletic website, but you can also buy here at the games if you would happen to come, and you're going to see these poster boards up where you just scan a QR code and then you can go just buy your ticket at that point in time. But to save time, if you can do it ahead of time, do it online. All the links are on our site. I'm going to be getting out some communication to families within the next week, so you can watch some basic videos. There's easy ways to buy passes, easy ways to transfer tickets, etc. But it's a really cool and simple system to use for all of our event games. We will be cutting, there's a $1 service fee on all our tickets, just so you're aware. Tickets are available now, usually 1 week before all events. And we're going to cut off sales 30 minutes after the varsity game has started. So, for example, we'll take football. Football, halftime ticket sales are done. So we're going to say probably around 8 o'clock. That takes a little bit longer for that first half. If you try to come in after 8 o'clock, gates are going to be locked. We're not letting anybody in after 8, after halftime. Basketball games, let's go volleyball. Volleyball games, varsity starts at 6:30. Sales and gates, doors are locked at 7. Basketball, games start at 7 for varsity. Doors are locked. Tickets are done selling at 7:30. Okay? So we hold true and fast to that rule. Be aware of that. It's going to be posted on signs. It's on our site. It's here. No refunds are given for tickets unless games are canceled. Okay? A very easy refund process if that would happen. But follow those rules. Things will not be a problem, but like I said, they will be posted. They will be communicated to you throughout the next couple weeks. If you were interested in buying a pass, it would kind of look like this. You got your fall athletic event pass. You can buy your full year pass, and then already tickets for our first home football game on August 23rd are there and are ready to go. So that is all available. That if you want to go get your passes now or buy tickets to your football games, you can go do that now if you'd like. Wanted to just highlight this. You may have saw it when you walked in. If you were here last year, especially during basketball season, you would have gone through it. Our Evolve Weapons Detection System. This is, we use this system to create a safer, more enjoyable event and experience for those that are here. Touchless security screening. You don't got to take anything out of your pockets, anything like that. We just are preventing anything major from happening, bringing anything on campus that should not be brought on campus. We're going to be using this our home varsity football games and select home indoor events and activities. It's become common practice. You go to American Family Field, you go to Lambeau, you go to Camp Randall, you go to Fiserv. A lot of those you got to take stuff out of your pocket, etc. Just walk through. If there's no problem, we're good. This, I believe, if you went to Summerfest, you may have seen this system or something very similar. I was just at Disney last year. I walked through the exact same thing. We're getting ahead of the game here and making sure we have safe experiences for everybody that enters our building. And that's the number one reason why we have that. So you will see that outside for football and indoor events. Wanted to highlight this. Oh, and one other thing. If you had questions around any of the Evolve stuff or you had something around that, in the back there, big guy back there with the glasses on him, Mr. Mike Haas. He's one of our security officers that is here on a daily basis. If you had questions around that, he is one of the gentlemen that works on along the side that most of the time. He is happy to answer any questions for you if you would have any towards that. We talked about our live streams. All of our varsity boys and girls basketball and our varsity football are live streamed via Facebook Live. There's a link there. I alluded to that on our athletic website. You can find that there. Also, there's an app called Huddle Fan. Huddle Fan, you can get any level of volleyball, boys and girls, basketball, boys and girls, JV football, boys and girls soccer are all going to be available on Huddle Fan. So if you have grandpa that can't make it, but they want to watch their daughter play a JV girls basketball game, boom, it's going to be live streamed for them all the time here at Martin Luther. We have that ability. There are a lot of other live streaming events throughout our conference. Some of them are pay to view. Okay, we will hope to communicate that to you via your coach will communicate that out. Some things are called the NFHS network. There's Just a Game Live. They do cost some money to watch that. We do offer it free because we're awesome. So that's awesome. But varsity only football and boys and girls basketball, like I said, are on our Facebook Live view for chapel service. Okay. Big shout out to Mr. Dave Talk back there. He is our live stream guru, videotaping this for us tonight, but he helps do all that stuff, puts in a lot of time. We appreciate him for that. Talked about VIP. No old school bringing forms home for pictures. Okay, if you lived through that, I know it was never fun. You can just order online. You'll get emails through our constant contact, through our Spartan newsletter of pictures are available. If you want to get sport pictures for your son or daughter, team pictures, you just go buy them online, mail them to you, nice and easy. Sports sponsorship program. If you've been in our gym, we've been out to our fields, you've maybe seen some banners of other businesses that are supporting Martin Luther Athletics. If you have one of those businesses, if you'd like to be up on the wall, you know somebody that, hey, you want to get up and be a sports sponsor, there's lots of opportunities to do that here. Please reach out to John Menier. He can help assist you with that, help your business get recognized. We're probably putting some programs together for some sports this year. So a lot of opportunities to get that advertising out there for you if you're interested. Wanted to talk quickly about our online giving program. This is something we instituted 3 years ago, and it is a big piece, a component to the process for our student athletes. Over the past 3 years, we've raised over $200,000 through our online giving program. And it's been a great process. Each program has a wish list item. Coaches will put out a quote of what they're looking for. And there's going to be a goal, a monetary goal we're trying to reach. If it was $1,000 and we raise that, even if we don't, that program gets half of whatever is raised. So if cross country raised $1,000, 500 of that is going to go towards budget relief to help offset our athletic budget, and the other $500 goes to Coach Hawkins towards her wish list item, whatever that may be. Cross country, they're all looking for shoes, right? Warm-up jackets, whatever it may be. She's got $500 towards that. The other year, I think, football raised over $6,000. They got a brand new blocking sled. That was his wish list item. He had $3,000 to go towards that. Wrestling raised over $3,000. He needed some new throwing dummies. They're sick of throwing around each other. Got some throwing dummies and whatever else. Got those. Girls basketball raised money to go on a trip a few years back. Went to California. That helped fund that trip partly for them. Really cool opportunities. You're going to expect our coaches to push this out to you via email. May get some texts, things like that. Share that. There's a link on our athletic website. Share that with your family, friends, all over to give to that sport. We'd really appreciate that. That helps us get things outside of our normal budgetary means, those great wish list items. Once again, here's my contact information for our whole athletic department, myself, Coach Minkowski, still waiting on a phone number for him yet, and then Mrs. Schmidt in the office. If you have any registration questions, she's going to be one to help out. Mr. Minkowski will start moving into that role a little bit as well, helping with that. But if there's any questions, please feel free to let us know and how we can assist you and help you out. Before we get going, I just want to highlight a couple things. I believe if you're here, are any football players, Coach Hoppert will be holding a meeting up in the Student Center. So if you leave here, go up the stairs to the right. Coach Hoppert will having his football meeting up there. Please make sure you take care of that. Coach Cole Morgan is going to have some handouts. That gentleman right there will have some handouts. Girls tennis players, please connect with Coach Cole Morgan. Room 104. Room 104 is where you can meet Coach Cole Morgan for any of those. I will have some of our other coaches. Mr. Farnes is here for wrestling. He can talk boys or girls wrestling. Ms. Hawkins is here, track or cross-country questions. Mr. Conklin, Coach Conklin's here for girls volleyball. Tutu, Coach N. That's where I'm going to go with. Coach N, any boys soccer questions? Boys volleyball questions? You never forget about boys volleyball. We could never do that. Mr. Stauskunis over there, he'll take care of you guys. If you want to meet our new baseball coach, Coach Mather, he's going to be down here. Coach Minkowski was around for girls basketball in the back. Coach Wollersheim, any boys basketball questions? He is also around. Did I miss anybody coaching-wise? Because we don't miss coaches, no. If you have any other questions, I'm here. I'm around to help. Please let me know if you have registration questions. Miss Schmidt, where are you at? Mrs. Schmidt is going to be out there. If you have any questions with registration, Mrs. Heather Schmidt can help you and answer. If you want to pick up, see if your practice permit is ready, she might have it for you. Get it now, okay? And if you had any Evolve security questions, Mr. Haas is out there as well to talk to. 1 hour, or I've done it in less. I am proud of myself. Thank you. We got her done. I appreciate it. Air conditioning worked. Have a blessed rest of your summer. Thank you very much.